coming in at number 93, we have Atlanta Falcons inside linebacker Deion Jones. I have a bunch of clips I want to get to, so I'm going to be short in the intro. But all I want to say is do not disrespect this man just because of his team's struggles. Ever since that Super Bowl collapse against New England, the play of guys like Desmond Trufant or, Vic Beasley, Keanu Neal, their play has kind of seen a decline, right? Well, Deion Jones, for some reason, I feel like has been wrongly associated and grouped with those guys when in reality, his play has remained really as consistent as ever when he's healthy, and he remains one of the most elite players and really linebackers in the NFL today. And hopefully I can portray that to you guys. First things first, how can I talk about anything other than Deion Jones' freakish athleticism? Back in 2016 at the NFL Combine, he ran a 4.38 40-yard dash, which that's mind-blowing to really sit there and wrap your head around when you think that there's starting running backs, wide receivers, and cornerbacks who they're 4'5", 4'6", 4'7" guys, and this man ran a sub 4.4 as an inside linebacker. And that speed, it's on display week in and week out, every game for the Atlanta Falcons, and that's what I wanted to show you guys here. So upon your first watch, you might just see this as, a pretty standard toss play to, the defense's left where Deion Jones makes a nice tackle in space on Raheem Mostert, right? And you're not wrong. But what I want to talk about is really what his athleticism affords him the ability to do, I guess we'll say. So right here is a really good point because, almost every linebacker coach in America right now is telling their linebackers that what you need to do is take on this block by Mike Pearson here, the 49ers right guard, and try and work over top, and almost best case scenario, you are going to meet Raheem Mostert and bring him down maybe 8 to 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, right? Because the last thing that they want you to do is stick a foot in the ground and really shoot backside and backdoor this play, because essentially what you're risking there is not only taking yourself out of the play, assuming the running back is past the point where you can even recover and bring him down from behind, but you're also freeing up that guard to really, now that he's not blocking you, you're freeing him up to pick off either that backside linebacker, that deep safety, and what was going to be maybe an 8-yard gain turns into a 30-yard touchdown, right? So with Deion Jones, though, he doesn't really play by those rules. So what I want you to see is how he's able to use that athleticism to just backdoor this play. And even though Pearson does get a hand on him, he's still unfazed by it and is able to go and make a great play on Mostert in space. And instead of what was probably going to be an 8 to 10-yard gain, it's a 3 or 4-yard gain. And that's really what Deion Jones' athleticism affords him the ability to do. And here's another really good example. I could have called this one athleticism as well, but I just chose explosiveness because, look at him here to shoot this frontside B gap and, make the huge play in the backfield on Todd Gurley. And, what you might be saying is, he went unblocked. Anybody could have made that play. Well, that's not true at all, because he didn't go unblocked because of a misassignment by Austin Blythe or Rob Havenstein. He went unblocked because of his explosiveness and, that quick first step and just athleticism that he offers at that linebacker position. What you're going to see is Blythe, the right guard, and the center working a combo block up to Deion Jones. And, being an offensive lineman, having played both guard and tackle, what I can tell you is when you're working these types of blocks, you have a general kind of tempo in your mind of like how this is going to go. You know that you're going to take like one step, 2-step punch, and then maybe 3 steps, 4 steps, hit Deion Jones, right? You kind of have a general idea in your mind based on where, not only your own athletic abilities, but also where that linebacker's lined up. Because if Deion Jones is way back here, you might be able to get a really good punch, maybe even a couple drive steps in on this one tech before you have to break off. But with Deion Jones pretty close here, Austin Blythe knows that he's got to be quick in what he does here. So what you're going to see is initially off the snap, there's that 1 step, 2 steps, right? But what Deion Jones notices immediately, and Austin Blythe, he knows that he's got to get off here. But Deion Jones sees that, okay, this gap is open. Austin Blythe's hips are turned, and that's really what you don't want being a guard. So what does Deion Jones do? He takes that opportunity, shoots the gap, and before Austin Blythe is able to even react, because now that tempo is all out of whack, Deion Jones is able to shoot the gap and make that play. So it's not unblocked because some offensive blunder. It's unblocked because of the athletic capabilities of Deion Jones. Here's another example. It's not just plays where people can't get a hand on him. It doesn't matter if you do get a hand on him sometimes, because here he is against Tampa Bay Buccaneers right guard Alex Kappa, And what you're going to see is, again, it's just that quick first step to where once he sets his mind to, okay, I'm going to shoot this backside A-gap, he shoots it, and he's tough to block. And when you don't have leverage on him like that, being a slower offensive lineman, a lot of times you're going to give this up to a guy like Deion Jones. And as a result, huge tackle in the backfield again. But it's not only that straight line speed that Deion Jones has, it's also that lateral mobility and ability to really go sideline to sideline here. And, I'll talk about that with his range, but just look at how he's able to, off the snap, kind of mirror everything that Dalvin Cook's able to do. And, we talk about mirror and matching in man coverage. Well, look at how with every step to the right that Dalvin Cook takes as he tries to find a hole, look at how Deion Jones is almost perfectly in sync, shuffling with him, scraping over the top and really evading blockers until they meet in the hole. And Deion Jones is able to make a huge tackle at the line of scrimmage. And it's just great plays like these that Deion's making on a consistent basis that maybe some other combine freaks aren't able to make. But Deion Jones isn't just a combine freak. He's able to apply that athleticism in a practical sense and make plays as a result on the football field. Not only is it the physical speed, though, it's also the mindset behind it. Look at him here blitzing and taking on Tevin Coleman, really, and then bouncing off, and then just being an absolute pest and never relenting in his pursuit of Jimmy Garoppolo, and as a result, pressuring him into taking a really tough throw. It's one thing to be a freakish athlete, but it's another thing to, just kind of tune your brain to, I'm not going to stop on this play until I cause as much havoc as possible. And that's what's really dangerous about Deion Jones' game, especially when you get into things like his range. And, speaking of range, here's a perfect example of it. You're going to see him on this outside zone running play for the Eagles. You're going to see him take a really nice path, really nice pursuit angle, and, despite being 2-3 steps inside the hash, he's going to make a play, halfway between the numbers and the sidelines. And when you're on the 8-yard line, that's super valuable to have a guy who can cover that much ground in so little time and make such a great play. And, before you say it again, he's not just going unblocked. Don't think that. He's going unblocked because he's so fast and so quick that Isaac Seumalo, Eagles guard number 73, he's not able to get to him. And it's not because, a lot of times when you see that, like a guard coming up short, what happens is, that D lineman maybe squeezed down on him and got hands on and disrupted his path. Or maybe this down block was in his way and he doesn't have a good angle to get to Deion Jones. Well, he gets off the line pretty clean. He takes a pretty solid angle, right off that defensive tackle's butt. And again, it's just that straight line athleticism that allows Deion Jones to prevail and make the play really for a 2-yard loss when it probably should have been a couple-yard gain. If that last play wasn't enough, then just look at this one. This is the definition of sideline to sideline. You're going to have Deion Jones blitzing off of that offense's right edge and engaging with Jack Conklin for a second before Mariota goes to scramble. But look at Deion Jones just chase him down and make a play on the complete other sideline. That is just freakishly athletic, because it is so rare for a guy, even a play side, defensive end, to be able to keep up with and catch up to a guy like Marcus Mariota. But Deion Jones is able to do it from the opposite side of the field and the opposite hash. And it's just crazy plays like that Deion's making on a consistent basis that make him so special. But it's not just against the run that he's really solid. He's also really good as a coverage linebacker, and that's what you're going to see here. Here he is lined up going up against Alvin Kamara, and what I want to show you guys is, apologies for rewinding already, this is basically an option route where, it's kind of just starting to get really popular, where Kamara comes on the backfield, puts a foot in the ground, and based on the leverage that he has, is able to take it inside or outside. And on most players, this is an easy 10-yard gain, because Alvin Kamara isolated in space is money. Well, against Deion Jones, it's a pass deflection, because again, it's that ability to just mirror and match like he's a freaking cornerback just in the middle of the field on running backs or tight ends. And again, let me try and see if I can get a good pause there. Alvin Kamara does a great job of getting that foot in the ground and changing direction really fast. But Deion Jones, he's able to do it just as fast. And despite a pretty solid throw by Drew Brees, Deion Jones gets right in that hip pocket, gets his hand up, disrupts the pass, and and forcing completion. But don't think it's just Kamara either. He's doing it against the league's best. If Alvin Kamara's one of the most dynamic, Christian McCaffrey might be the most dynamic. And what you're going to see here is virtually the exact same route, just instead of breaking inside, Christian breaks outside. So let me see if I can get a good pause for you guys. Again, you have the snap, Christian McCaffrey. He's slowing up here, about to make a cut, and what he's essentially doing is reading, is Deion Jones, do I have inside leverage or outside leverage on Deion Jones? As you can see here, Deion is, maybe a half step inside of McCaffrey. So what's he going to do? He's going to plant that left foot in the ground and make a sharp cut to the right, to the outside. And on most guys, this works. But Deion Jones is not most guys. He is right there, able to, when you cut, I cut. And I'm going to go make that play. And what does he do? He does exactly that. Gets right in his hip pocket, looking like a cornerback, batting that ball down, and forcing another play for the Panthers. And I apologize for really harping on Deion's coverage ability, but this might be one of the most impressive plays I've seen a linebacker make in the open field on a running back all year. Because what you're going to have is Nyheim Hines, who is one of the best pass-catching, kind of third down backs in the league. He's just going to quickly go into the flats. And Deion Jones in man coverage, this is a really tough play for him to make because he can't really go underneath because he's got a whole bevy of guys here that are in his way. He has his own outside linebacker. He has a DB. He has Jack Doyle. So it's essentially a pick play that Indianapolis is running here. But Deion Jones just has such freakish athleticism and such freakish recovery speed to the point where he's able to completely avoid all of that mess right there, avoid the pick play, and even still, you're going to see Hines has leverage on Deion Jones. This play is an easy catch and walk-in touchdown against 95% of the linebackers in the NFL. But Deion Jones is in that top 5% for a reason. And this is why right here, because he is able to recover, get, again, right in his hip pocket and make a beautiful play on the ball to prevent a touchdown for Indianapolis. And don't think that he's only good at, batting those balls down. The man's had 9 interceptions in the last 4 seasons. So he is good at securing the ball at that catch point as well and then making a play the other way. So here's a perfect example from this past season going up against my man Jameis Winston. And, of course, he threw 30 of them, so maybe it's not, it's not as impressive as it might be against a Tom Brady or somebody like that. But Deion Jones, again, he's just able to read the quarterback's eyes, get a great break on the ball. And, again, then you see that straight line speed and then those hands to go up, make the catch, and really go untouched into the end zone for 6 points. The only thing that I haven't really touched on is Deion's ability to just straight up block shed. What happens when instead of, backdooring those plays, what happens when he does take the man head on? Well, good things happen for Deion because he does have really active hands and he is super quick in short areas especially. So here he is going up against, you're going to see Brandon Brooks, all pro right guard for the Eagles. The poor man's out with an Achilles injury now, but look at how Deion Jones just able to really just step around him, shuck him with his hands, throw him into the ground, and then find the ball carrier and make the tackle on Miles Sanders. It's just plays like these to where it's not just those uncontested plays that he's making with his freakish athleticism. It's also these more technical plays that he's making because of his ability to use his hands, get his hands on, get your hands off, and then go. And lastly, I swear, I've kept you guys for too long already. Here's Deion Jones going up against Alex Kappa again. Kappa's going to climb up to Deion, but Deion does a great job of shooting those hands in there and kind of shocking Kappa at the point of attack, creating just enough space to disengage with his hands and go off and make the tackle for not a loss, but another short gain. So, it's just plays like these that Deion's making on a consistent basis that is really why I think he's the 93rd best player in the NFL today. As always, though, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you're leaving a like, make sure you're commenting, make sure you're subscribing. Did you think Deion Jones should have been higher on the list? Did you think he should have been lower on the list? Ultimately, though, you won't know where he should have fell if you don't subscribe and continue to tune into the rest of the series to see numbers 92 and beyond. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Peace.